Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, Pop Culture Minefield proudly brings to you its PCM Dork Side of the Ring! The Dork Knight, Danny Ballard, the Atmosphere, Joe Rivers, and the Broad Street Bully, Johnny Rock! And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for ya! Suck it! Ladies and gentlemen.
We're still new at this. Welcome to episode 3 of Dork Side of the Ring. Thank you, everyone who is tuning in live, and thank you to everyone who watches the replay later. Today, being the holiday season, Joe is not able to join us. He's got prior family obligations. However, Johnny Rock is here and special guest Roland Wellington from Cosmic Comics. So without any further ado, let's have the panel join us to talk about this week in wrestling. How you doing, guys?
Morning, morning, boys.
Good morning. Roland, how you doing, man? Are you there, Roland? Can you hear me? Uh-oh. All right.
Uh-oh.
While Roland's trying to figure that out, Johnny, how was your week since I saw you last?
It's actually pretty good. Pretty good. I'm actually broadcasting from the home studio for once.
Yeah. So that means just more post-show meal for me.
Oh man, yeah. I gotta say that cooking is phenomenal. I am gonna miss out on that.
Yeah, maybe next week. So yeah, what have you been up to? What's new in your life? I'm just trying to. While Roland fixes his sound.
Not much. Just working a lot of overtime for the holiday seasons.
That's good. Yeah, I've been working on some websites. I'm actually really excited about this one. I'm almost finished. I'm redesigning D&D Specialty Cars. They do automobile restoration out in Arkansas, and they've been doing it for over 40 years, and they've done restorations for like people like ZZ Top. And
okay.
They've been a client of mine for 15, 16 years. And
now, when you say D&D, is that the company name, or is it like Dungeons and Dragons themed?
No, that's just the company name. I don't know what the D&D stands for, but it's dspecialtycars.com. But the site that's there now is the one I made for them 7 years ago, and I've made this, and that's like the 4th version of the site. But the one I'm working on now is oh my god, I'm super proud of it. I can't wait to launch it. Hey, morning, Parrot Head, and let's see who else we got. Mom's in the chat. Roland, was that Roland for a second?
Yeah, I gotta say I'm a little disheartened now because I kind of wish it was a Dungeons and Dragons themed car. But check it out, going down the street in a gelatinous cube.
Yeah, no, the logo I made for it is pretty cool. It's a skull with racing flags behind it. We'll check it out. Maybe one of these days.
Yeah, I got a shout out.
Hey. Well, hi, Rod Thunder Hart, Cecilia Rivera, Kyle. Zax is in the house, and we'll see. We'll see. I guess Roland's. Hopefully, he'll be back. I'll try to give him a little bit of an introduction. Hopefully, he can make it with us. Roland is the store manager at Cosmic Comics, today's sponsor. Cosmic Comics is the largest comic book shop in Las Vegas with the largest selection of back issues. They are not too far from the Strip in Las Vegas on Flamingo, on the corner of Flamingo and Sand Hill, right off of the 95, the 215, 515, whichever number you want to assign to that road. It seems to have 3 of them. And yeah, so if you live in the Las Vegas area and you want to get your fix for comic books, that's the place to go. But we'll talk about them later at the top of the hour.
They also have a really good selection of Funko Pops. Actually, some in my collection are actually from Cosmic Comics. Yeah, right. Look at me butchering the sponsor name today.
Yeah, there you go.
So, can you guys hear
there
me
he is. Yeah, we can see and hear you, buddy.
As soon as the show started and the intro happened, my sound just dropped, so I had to go back out and back in. So
okay, no worries. Well, hey, yeah, we killed enough time, so it worked out. Why don't you do me a favor now and tell the people all about you, what you do, why you're here, your wrestling
Wrestling
Fides.
background. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So my name's Roland, and as Danny was talking about, I work for Cosmic Comics. It's a comic book shop here in town. That's how I initially met Danny, was through the comic and nerd scene here in Las Vegas. And I'm their back issue manager. I work on their back issues there, but I'm one of several of our employees are wrestling fans in there. So people like myself, Danny, a few of our other customers, our employees like Melanie and Dan, we like to talk wrestling all the time and everything like that. I've been a huge wrestling fan my entire life. I, grew up in the 80s with Hulkamania and was, saying my prayers and eating my vitamins and all that stuff. So I've been a wrestling fan since the beginning, and like every wrestling fan, I have been in and out throughout the years. Really like the Ruthless Aggression era. Was kind of out of it in the Attitude Era. That's when I was in school, so I really didn't have as much time to do there, stuff like that. So
that's funny because I missed all the Ruthless Aggression, but
so that's when I kind of got back into it and everything. Yeah. So, but I will say that I do enjoy kind of combining my passions of like comics and art with wrestling, and so I get some artists to do wrestling sketches for me. And Danny, you'll probably appreciate this one, but this one I did for you, bro.
Oh,
the best
nice.
there is, the best there was,
the best
there ever will be.
Hold up. John, you got to play that for Roland because he's got that. He's got it on tap. Who drew that? Roland, who drew that?
Oh, who drew that? So it's a guy out of Mexico. His name is Marco Carrillo, and I did a commission through the mail from him. Me and another friend of mine, we've gotten several commissions from him, and his style just worked really well for Bret Hart.
Yeah, no, that looks great. That looks gorgeous. Yeah, and as Roland knows, and as everybody who watches the show knows, Bret Hart is my favorite wrestler of all time.
And just to not be outdone, because my favorite of that era, Bret Hart may be the best there ever was, but he is not perfect.
Oh, now you're talking my language.
Yeah, no, I love Mr. Perfect, and the great thing about that is those two have great chemistry, or had great chemistry in the ring.
Oh yeah.
Bret Hart says, like in several interviews, that Curt Hennig was his favorite person to wrestle, and that he could wrestle him in his sleep, and they'd still have a 5-star match. And it's totally true. Their King of the Ring match, their didn't they?
It was SummerSlam was the first one, right?
SummerSlam was the first one. Then they did the King of the Ring in '93, I believe it was.
Yeah.
God, I mean, let's be honest. Both of those guys could have a 5-star match with a mop in the ring.
Right? Yeah, I miss. We lost Mr. Perfect way too early. Like he'd probably still be trying to do it today if he were around.
And it would be perfect.
He would
absolutely
be
perfect.
Yeah.
I used to when I was a kid. I used to do the towel gimmick that he did. And,
dude,
and
that's
to this
what
day,
I love.
I still do the bat and the bubble gums. Like,
I mean, honestly, that's what
I
when I had the artist do it, he had to draw the towel because the story I told him was about one of the Royal Rumbles where he's walking out and Heenan's behind him and he just tosses the towel and Heenan catches it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh no, yeah.
I still miss those early Mr. Perfect vignettes. Like,
where he's
my favorite one is the one where he threw the touchdown pass to himself. He just like airs his ball out 50 yards, then it just cuts to the end zone with him catching it. I'm like, what is he, the Flash?
Or like when he's on the total opposite end of the basketball court, nothing but net, like all
right
across the court. Yeah.
And you're like, I wonder how many takes that took.
Movie
some clever editing there.
Yeah, that's all it was. Yeah, so Roland and I, with Melanie and another buddy of ours, Willie, we actually went to Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
Together, and that was a lot of fun. In fact, I'm pretty sure I still owe Roland money for the ticket, but we'll talk about that later. Was there anything else you wanted to add before we get in? Like, are you current on the product? I mean,
So like, I've been current for a while now. Got back into it just sort of randomly on YouTube, catching some channels and getting caught up, and then for current with Raw, current with SmackDown, current with AEW, catching the news. I don't watch the weekly shows like minute for minute. I usually just kind of catch the updates, and then if this is cool, I'll go back and watch it. And one of the good things about in today's environment is you can just go back and watch a match or the highlights of a match. You don't have to fight to try to find a re thing of like Smackdown if you missed it or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So no, I'm up to date on the news and everything. Like I said, I'm one of those viewers where I consume it differently, like probably social media and in clips, and not the 2 hours or 3 hours every episode.
No, that's how I was before this show. So I would watch something called What Culture Wrestling, and I'd watch Simon Miller's Ups and Downs, which is I love that show, and whenever he was like, whenever he would recommend you watch a particular match, then I would go watch that match. So I used to be that way. But when we started this show, as you guys were picking on me about my notes, I have been watching it. I have been watching it minute for minute, pausing it when I have to, taking my notes, finishing my thoughts and stuff like that. And I tell you what, we'll get into that when we do the week in review. But SmackDown was rough on me this week. Anywho, So, was there anything else you want to say, or you want to slide on into the news?
No, I'm good. I just want to say hi to the chat. I see some love in the chat already for all of us and for Cosmic, so I appreciate that. But
yes, I see CC, Cecilia Rivera, my fiancée. She just became a member, so thanks for that, Hon. I think I need to renew mine if you want to pay for that, or I'll get Gary to gift it to me. All right, so without any further ado, let's get into the wrestling news. All right, so this week, the Wall Street Journal dropped another report on Vince McMahon. Skeezy Vince McMahon. If we thought Hulk Hogan was bad, we're talking about the guy who took Hulk Hogan out of the Hall of Fame because of, racist comments he made while he was banging some dude's wife that was being a cuck. So you thought that was bad. Apparently Vince is not only a hypocrite, but he's just a sleazeball. Are you guys familiar with this story? Like the new allegations that have come out?
The latest article.
Yeah, so we got 2 more allegations. And this delusional prick who wants to talk about this part, the bad advice? Who wants to do
the bad advice?
Yeah, come on.
Okay. So in the article, just people close to Vince, they were relating to the reporters that Vince thinks he got bad advice to leave WWE in the spring or the summer when he did, and that if he had stayed, all of this would have just blown over. And
wow.
Yeah, how delusional is that, Johnny? How delusional?
All I gotta say is to coin one of his catchphrases from the Attitude Era: the sheer grapefruits on this man.
I know, right? Yeah.
Geez. I don't know if this is part could this be a senior moment? Could Vince be a little senile in the head right now?
No, I think this is Vince being Vince. So here's what happens when his whole life. Okay, so this leads right in. So that the morning the Wall Street Journal dropped that article, that evening, Vice premiered The 9 Lives of Vince McMahon, which I know the 2 of you haven't watched yet, but I watched. One thing that bothered me about it is it was made up. I had seen probably 80% of it already, because 80% of it was just clips they repurposed from the various Dark Side of the Ring episodes, of which this show is bastardizing, by the way, with Dork Knight. So the documentary basically goes over, how his entire life, that's why they call it The 9 Lives. So the first scandal was where he, I have to say allegedly, raped the first female referee they ever had in his limousine. And this is an old story. This has been out, and this has been a public story since the 80s. And paid to make that problem go away. And then throughout the whole point of the documentary is every single instance of wrongdoing, he's always been able to just throw money at the problem to make it go away. So he's been conditioned to think that he's what the term they used is bulletproof. So when you go through life being a bad person and you've suffered no consequences for it, it does something to your brain. So I think he's probably more lucid than I am, to be honest with you. I just think he's a narcissist and he's crazy, that's how he's been. What do you guys think?
No, I agree. I think the entire career, his life in wrestling, he's been the top dog, and he's never lost, and he's never really faced true consequences, even in real life with like the steroid trial.
They talk about the steroid trial in the documentary.
Yeah, so why wouldn't he think that? And if you just go like when this story first broke and he went out on SmackDown and they were chanting his name, he's like, these are my people. They want me. And that's the same reinforcement he's had for 50 years.
Yeah, it's
and also, I mean, like looking at it from the other angle, like he might just be trying to like spin his own narrative because he has nothing else to do. I mean, a lot of us thought Vince was going to die in the chair. So how does Vince McMahon fill the hours of the day when he doesn't have the WWE to like control? Because he had his fingers in every pie, like every aspect of that company. Vince was a control freak. He wanted to. What does a control freak do when they're robbed of all control? I mean, like I can't see Vince McMahon just spending his days on the golf course all day.
No, he's probably posted up outside of high school, scouting for new women to molest. But anyway,
new talent.
Oh, new talent. My bad.
Yeah,
we're gonna have a diva search.
Oh, look at that! You got a kitty guest. Nice. I love it.
Meatball's always wanting to be part of the show.
Hey, Meatball. So I did learn. So, like for example, the Dark Side of the Ring did a episode on the steroid trial already. So, and they did an episode already on the the plane ride from hell, and a bunch of other things, and the slap heard around the world episode. With the reporter. So, anyways, they repurposed a bunch of that stuff in the documentary, but the 20% of new stuff that was sprinkled in was stuff I actually didn't know, and that's about his early childhood. I did not know Vince McMahon was raised in North Carolina, because I was in half of my childhood I was raised in North Carolina. I found that interesting, and he wasn't with. They didn't really go into detail. Maybe it's because they don't know, because they flashed on the screen twice that Vince McMahon had absolutely nothing to do with this documentary and refused to be a part of it and wanted nothing to do with it. And
it sounds like it was a hit piece. Would you want to be part of your own character assassination?
Well, you would think you'd want to like try to control the narrative or give your point of view, or try to defend yourself. I don't know, but I get it. He probably doesn't trust them, and they do the Colbert thing where they edit stuff out of context and screw him over. But
like the Teddy Hart documentary?
Yeah, right. Well, okay.
That was a total hit piece.
Yeah, or the self-destruction of the Ultimate Warrior. So
in Teddy's defense, he's not the greatest person in the world, but I've met the man on many occasions, and I have nothing but positive memories of Teddy Hart. I can't speak for his entire life. I can only speak for my own personal interaction.
Hey, Socks Bulletins is in the house. Hey, Socks, thanks for joining us, man. I appreciate that. I see Socks. He's an AEW fan. He's tweeting stuff out when he watches the shows. They skipped over the Owen Hart death altogether. No, they didn't. You must have missed that. The Owen Hart was a big part of it. It was a big part of the Vince documentary. If you need a link, brother, I'll send you a link. But no, that because they repurposed footage from that episode, as well as the Benoit episode. They repurposed a lot of footage, but his childhood was kind of weird. Like, he wasn't with his dad. In fact, he had a different last name because he was living with his biological mother and his stepfather, who allegedly, both of them allegedly abused him sexually. And then something happened. I can't really remember. And he ended up with his dad. And then he changed his name to McMahon. Then they sent him to a military school, but he was so unruly and such a dipshit that he got court-martialed and kicked out of the military school. And they showed a lot of cool old pictures of him as like a kid in military school in like a uniform and stuff. And so
no wonder Randy Orton's always been his boy.
Yeah, right. Oh, gosh. But hey, I don't want to ignore the chat. I do want to say Rod Thunderheart says, "I'll be honest, I loved all caps Hogan, but the more I got to know him, the less I wanted to know him." And I think we're all in that same boat, right?
And it's not just the racism thing. When you learn like how Hogan politicked backstage, it's
first of all, wasn't he banging a black chick at the time?
Probably.
So I mean, I like that. That's the least of my concerns. The fact that again, it always comes back to Bret Hart with me. Hogan was supposed, after WrestleMania 9, they shot, I've seen this. I've seen the photos they made. They did like the promo photos, posters, to promote Hogan versus Hart at SummerSlam, where Hogan was supposed to drop the title and pass the torch to Bret Hart before riding off into the sunset. Hogan refused to do it, which is why he lost to Yokozuna, and he was still only willing to lose to Yokozuna with shenanigans, with the light bulb exploding in his face at King of the Ring. So that's one reason I really hate the guy. But he did it to
WrestleMania 9.
You know, go ahead.
I was gonna say, isn't WrestleMania 9 the one where Hogan came out with a black eye?
Yeah. That's the one at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And the black guy, depending on which story you believe, either he got it from Macho Man or he got it from a Sea-Doo accident. So
I already got it from Bret.
Oh, I never heard that. Oh,
I remember saying you got it from Bret because they changed the finish that. They changed the finish that match last minute.
It's the black guy for this.
No, I would have known. Trust me, I've watched almost everything out there on Bret Hart. I've read his book twice, which is saying something because that book is thick and the print in it is tiny.
Is that the one where he just shits on everybody?
No, he shits on himself too, man. Like he's just brutally honest. He wasn't. I mean, like he was brutally honest. I mean, detailing like cheating on his wife, pretty much every town he was in, talking about his steroid use, talking about his cocaine use. Like he was just, it was a very honest account of his life and his interactions with people. So I actually, like, when you say he was burying people, I think he was just being honest in the book. But back to the Hogan thing. Hogan's big thing was he felt like he had to hold everybody else down to keep him up. Man, the older I got and the more I learned about him, and then seeing the BS he did and in WCW and then the crap he tried to pull in TNA, I just, I don't even know why they still have Hogan around, to be honest with you. But I digress. Sorry.
The nostalgia pop.
I guess.
Yeah. That's really it. It's Hogan appealed to a lot of us when we were kids. We're all around the same age, mid to late 40s. And Hogan was the guy. I mean, granted, I was always more of a Macho Man and a Roddy Piper fan as a kid.
Yeah.
See, I was Hogan and then Ultimate Warrior were the two that hit me as a child. Yeah.
I never liked Ultimate Warrior, dude. No, I was always I was Hogan Macho, and then when they started feuding,
right,
I was all about the Macho Man.
Yeah,
because he's just so damn entertaining, and Hogan's just so kind of boring, actually. You know what I mean? In the ring. In the ring. Yeah, Vader. Hey, Vader, welcome to the chat.
I was a Hogan kid. As I've gotten older, I've gained an appreciation for Macho Man going back and watching his stuff.
Oh, dude. So. Steamboat match of all time, man. It's great match. Up there with, Bret Hart and at the Wembley Stadium with Davey Boy Smith. That's another God, one of these days, I'm going to do a Mount Rushmore of matches, not wrestlers.
Oh, okay.
Pick our our 4 favorite matches of all time, but not today.
I hate doing Mount Rushmores because I can never narrow it down to just 4.
I know.
What's your favorite match of all time? Do you have a number one, clear-cut number one?
Me? Oh, God, probably Bret Hart, Steve Austin, WrestleMania 13, where Austin passes out. We get the double turn because there's so much story there. So much story.
What about you, Johnny? What's your favorite? What's your number one of all time?
It always changes, but right off the top of my head, I gotta say CM Punk and John Cena Money in the Bank in Chicago, where CM Punk wins the title and just takes off through the crowd and blows Vince a kiss. And there was that whole we didn't know that Punk had re-signed.
Dude, that's a great one too. Look at that. Look at that on the screen, guys. That's a great one
Taker
too.
Mankind.
Oh, well, I mean, Hell in the Cell between Taker and Mankind is just.
Yeah. And that almost should just be like a given, like what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that would definitely be on my Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, that great match. What about you, man?
So I'm a little offbeat. I'm that kid that says, "What's your favorite Mario game?" And I'm like Mario 2, or I like Zelda 2. So my favorite
Mario 2 is the worst one.
It's TNA, the first Ultimate X, Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels.
Man,
that is.
I don't even think I saw that match.
In a ring to a T to me.
Was that
when they had a 6-sided ring?
That 6 or 8 sided ring. Yeah, the octagon.
Yeah.
I'm not watching
the 3
that.
of those guys going back and forth. They did it 4 times. I've seen 3 of them because the 4th one was in some European show in like Sweden that I can never find video on. But I've seen the 3 that they did over here in the States, and the first one's still the best of mine for me.
So, I saw not John Cena. Sorry, I got confused in the chat because Vader says CM Punk / Cena was amazing, and man, CM Punk in anything is amazing. Jesus, I mean, like the match of the year contender would have to be Punk and MJF in the dog collar match. I mean, that was
oh my God, that was so good.
That was a brutal match.
That was my match of the year.
Hey, Krampus Jeebus, you jabron, what's up, man? Yeah, I feel like most of us love CM Punk, and the Twinkle Toes and the Harley Boys are just a cancer to wrestling.
Are we ever going to talk about that? Because I got a lot.
Eventually, that's going to be a show on its own, I think.
I got a lot of opinions on that.
Yeah, so let's get to the next. Are we done talking about Vince? I mean, we got sidetracked with the chat. All right. Yes. No. The
Matt Vader. I agree.
Yeah. That was in NXT though. And that was back when NXT was good. So only reason I watch NXT now, and I haven't watched the last couple weeks episodes, but I did watch the last pay-per-view, even took notes on it, but we ran out of time last week. Well, it's Booker T. I love Booker T.
One of my main reasons for watching NXT is no longer there.
Oh, okay.
Mandy Rose.
Good.
That's a great segue, my friend.
I love it.
Hey!
Good job, because the next big news of the week was Mandy Rose got fired. She was the NXT Women's Champion for a record 413 days. They had advertised that she was going to take on Roxana Perez at, I forget what they call it, their New Year's Evil, I think is what it's called.
The deadline.
No, it was New Year's Evil. And but then all of a sudden, they rush it. They do it on this past week's NXT, which we're not going to cover because it's NXT, but we are going to cover this. She loses, and then the next morning they announce that she's been let go from the company. You guys, I mean, I know the whole story. Do you guys know the whole story? And if so,
I mean, well,
would one of you like to go ahead, Johnny. Let you elaborate.
The story, I don't think the real stories come out because there's so many conflicting stories coming out. Like some are saying she had foreknowledge that she was let go. Some are saying that it was just dropped on her. Some are saying that she was given an ultimatum.
So let's just So let's just go over the facts. Like, okay, fact number 1, she had is called what is it called? True Fans. Fan time. So so we know that she had a fan time page and that she's had it for a while. That's fact number 1. Fact number 2, WWE has known that she's had it and had no problem with it up until recently.
Not everybody though, because Shawn Michaels came out and said he didn't know until day of when they told him what was going on.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. He's a wholesome Christian now, so how?
Yeah, I guess Matt Bloom, former Lord Tensai Prince Albert, is the one who told him. And Sean was like, "Oh, this is a bad look for us."
Yeah. So fact number 3, apparently, over time, they went from like bikini shots and implied nudity to full-on nudity, borderline pornographic. Including photos and video of her and her husband or fiance or whatever in the shower. Doing their thing.
Yeah.
And we also know that Hasbro reached out to the WWE with a problem with this. So those are things we know. And we also know that she's no longer with the company. So all the other stuff, I don't really care about the drama details. But Sox, that's a good point. We'll get to that in just a second. We'll get to that in just a second. But I want to get your guys' thoughts on, because we're talking about a company that had Shawn Michaels in a Playgirl naked with his junk flopping on the greatest title ever, the Winged Eagle belt. We're talking about a company that had Chyna pose in Playboy not once but a few times.
Not
Sable.
just Chyna. I mean, for
Sable, Tori,
Rafe Nellis, Ashley Massaro, rest in peace.
Yeah. So I just feel like this is huge hypocrisy. What do you guys think? Let's Roland, you go first, and then Johnny, you follow up.
So my first thoughts on it, like the site itself, like after the news broke, I went to the site just to see, is this like a porn site, OnlyFans site. And when I got there, it's like, hey, we're a creator content site, and it had like, here are our chief like our big creators, and it was like her and like Jorge Masvidal and like a skateboarder. So it's just another social media site that allows creators to post content. You could just post as much adult content as you want. I don't know if there's tiers into buying, and they're like $5 and you get my normal stuff, $50 and you get the adult stuff or whatever. But they had it kind of clear on the front page, like, you got to be 18 and over. Here's our checks. So they weren't pretending of what could be on there, right?
So look at Vader's comment. Do you think that's a valid argument?
Oh, about the Usos?
No. The one on the screen now. He says that was the Attitude Era. When I'm
that was the
about
Attitude
the hypocrisy.
Era. Yes,
I mean, not all of it was it? I mean, like,
attitude / ruthless aggression.
Yeah,
Divas era. I mean, that was before the PG era. That was before sponsors.
Linda McMahon's political career.
Yeah, no, that's probably the biggest thing, the political career. But no, like, Vader made another great point. Vader, you ought to just hop on the show, brother. They made all their money on Suck It merch, and probably still do. I mean, anyway, go on, Roland.
No, I was just saying, it probably was the thing. So, like, the site where it was, where her profile that you could see, she didn't mention WWE or anything like that. Looking like at her Twitter, her official WWE Twitter account, that nothing directed it there. There wasn't like a link in her bio or anything. It was just fans who were able to find it and seek it out, found it, and were able to do it on there. Mm-hmm. So she did it.
But you had to pay for it. It was behind a paywall.
Behind a paywall.
Yeah, because I don't know about you guys, but just for reporting purposes, I did try to find these images. And unfortunately,
research.
Exactly. Unfortunately, all I found was a bunch of clearly faked, photoshopped images. So that was a bummer. But I did hear from Booker T's podcast that the day after she was fired, she doubled the price of admission.
Makes sense.
And she really needs to thank WWE for the promotion, because most of us didn't even know she had this thing.
I didn't know she had it. Nah.
Like, her
she may or may not have a new customer.
Yeah. No, like, her goodbye tweet on her WWE account was, the site's still up. That was it, right?
Yeah.
So she's going to make
going anywhere.
She's going to make more money off of this than any indie promotion can pay her for an appearance. TNA, like, Tommy Dreamer came up and says, we'd love to have you. TNA can't afford her. Okay, Tommy?
No.
You know that.
Yeah. No. So what do you? Well, before I ask that question, Johnny, did you have any thoughts you wanted to throw in about the Mandy Rose thing?
I mean, honestly, I understand there's, like, when you're an employee of a publicly traded company, that there is a morality clause in effect, but at the same time,
they're independent contractors, not employees.
You're right. So, I mean, that's always been a real big gray area with WWE.
No, look at Vader's comment there. That's what I'm laughing at. Sorry.
Oh boy. But like, I understand there's morality clauses and stuff, but it's not like she was advertising it.
Yeah.
Like when I remember there's actually a term for this. I learned it when I was in college for radio. It shows how much I retained. It was like when you're promoting yourself on company time or like within a company setting and you're not supposed to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's a Latin term, but
yeah, for sure.
But it's not like she was promoting her fan time page on NXT or through her official WWE Twitter. It was
most of us, like Vader says, like most of us didn't even know this thing existed. I'd never even heard of it. What's it called?
If you know about it, you know about it.
Is it Fan Time? I didn't even know that website alone existed before this.
Neither did I.
Yeah.
No,
that's some Attitude Era shit there. Show me the puppies. Jerry Lawler.
God. So, I watched some of those Attitude Era Raws and stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, Jerry Lawler is so cringy. How has nobody canceled him yet?
I mean, I think the difference between, like, say, the Attitude Era and today's era, and just today's era in wrestling, is when you don't want to do anything where it catches a sponsors or somebody that backs with money's attention. Like, if you're streaming video games or D&D campaigns or whatever, or you go on a podcast or you do an interview, inherently, you should know, don't do anything that's going to get back to Snickers or Hasbro or something else where one of their execs is going to make a phone call to Titan Tower.
I don't know. I kind of disagree. Okay, you guys familiar with Bill Hicks, the comedian Bill Hicks?
Yeah, I love Bill Hicks.
Yeah.
Okay. You remember what he said, like what Coke would do if they could get away with it to advertise Coke? About just a picture of a naked woman sitting out like this, totally nude, but with a Coke can right in front of her twat with the words "Drink Coke." It's like, no, man. Like, I don't know. I don't buy it. I mean, I think about. Of course, that was
I don't know. I'm kind of in the mood of just thinking about that. I'm in the mood to drink Coke.
But
there you go. Right. So,
but I mean, like, if you do something that's going to get the attention of people you don't want, messing around, it's going to get you in trouble, or they're going to tell you to stop it because they don't want any kind of, heat with the sponsors or anything like that. You know?
And I heard. I mean, who knows what's true, but the reports I've read, it was an amicable split. Like she wasn't butthurt.
Yeah.
For it, So.
Yeah.
Speaking.
Well, of course not, because now everybody knows about her fan time page and her business is going to triple.
Right.
Yeah.
So, before I get to Sock's point, because I do want to talk about that, do either of you think she ends up in AEW now?
No.
No.
Honestly, you know what my hot take is? I feel like this is a damage control firing, and unlike the Vince McMahon thing, this is something that could blow over in 6 months to a year, kind of like when Eddie Guerrero got fired in the early 2000s, for his drug use, and they basically told him, "Hey, you know what? Do a couple indie gigs, get yourself clean, take care of yourself, damage control." And then we'll bring you back in, 6 to 8 months or so.
Yeah, no, and that what you said. Look at what Vader said down there. That's exactly. It's bullshit.
Yes.
Man. Yeah, and that's so. All right, so.
Yeah, like how many of those Hasbro executives said we're calling for her head and then immediately logged on and subscribed?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Amen. Okay, so you think she'll be back in WWE? You don't think she'll ever be to AEW? Do you think that Johnny's got a good point? That could happen?
I mean, you never say never with WWE. I could see her coming back maybe in like a year or something like that, or even 6 months.
Oh, Vader, dude, go Google Paige nude.
Oh God, no!
That's out there on the internet, buddy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But the main reason why I don't think she'll be in
it's still a shitty thing to happen to somebody, though. I gotta stand up for Saraya.
I'm a pig. So anyway, go ahead.
No, the main reason I don't think she'll end up in AEW is because her style is very sports entertainment WWE. Yeah. I don't think she would fit in with the women's style on AEW.
She could be a member of the JAS. Of course, you've already seen it, Vader. What was I thinking? My bad.
Yeah, I mean, JAS as a gimmick, but when that gimmick goes away,
thanks all of you.
Do? Yeah. So
fair enough. All right, so now because we're running a little bit longer than I wanted to on the news, I do want to talk about Sox's point. What do you think about that? And John, if you could pull that back up on the screen, it says Mandy Rose gets fired for showing naked pics of her on a paid website. But Jimmy Uso and his brother get the tag team titles a few days later after Jimmy gets busted for a DUI. And not just a DUI, another DUI.
Another, yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts on that? Because I think that's a great point.
Go ahead, Johnny.
I think that's just the American double standard. Boobies are always worse than violence and drugs. You can get something immediately censored off of television. Like we can't have light pornography on primetime television, but yet you can show a show with graphic violence like The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
That's just, I think that's a very American attitude to take. I mean, they're a lot looser with that over across the pond in Europe. It's like, oh, God forbid she shows a little bit of skin, but yet we're going to show blood and guts on TV. Like that, what's more detrimental to your children and what's more detrimental to your product?
Right. I mean, seriously, the naked body is a natural thing, whereas like zombie, ripping people's flesh off or showing
DUI, which could legitimately injure or harm or kill
somebody. Like Sonny killed a man with DUI. Anyway, so. I'm glad we Roland, what did you think about
No, I agree with that. I think there's also, it's just the preferential treatment for, your bigger stars. I mean, Bill Parcells says he had different rules for his different players. I mean, so that's all it is. The Usos are more important, more connected. They're going to be able to get away with more than even somebody like Mandy Rose, or if you were like a low-level,
because they're the
low-card
bloodline
jobber.
Set out a white rub.
Yeah. So let's go from one bombshell beauty to another that's made some news this week.
Matthew Riddle?
No, the former Sasha Banks, Mercedes Venato. I hope I'm saying that right. So news came out this week that not only is she not still in WWE, she doesn't plan to go back, and she's actually been released for the company long enough to participate at Wrestle Kingdom, January 4th and 21st. That's the big New Japan Pro Wrestling tournament that takes place on those 2 days.
It's a work.
She's getting $100,000 per match. She's going to have at least 2. She could have more depending on how she does in these tournaments. What are your guys' thoughts on that? And do you
It's
think
total
she ends
work.
up? You think it's a work?
I think Triple H is cracking open a forbidden door, and she's going to do Wrestle Kingdom, but she'll be back in time for the Rumble.
Well, what do you think about the rumor that she was going to be Saraya's mystery partner, which is January 11th? I don't like just because of this. That's not even logistically possible. You know, I mean, I guess maybe technically it could be. She could fly out to for the 11th and then fly back to Japan. But yeah, I agree with Vader. I don't think it's a work.
No, she
think
can't
she
do
was-
that because once she enters the country, she has to go through a quarantine period.
Yeah, so
she would.
yeah,
she
so
wouldn't
there's
be able
no
to leave
way.
and come back.
So
No.
hey guys, all you guys thinking that Saraya's bringing the former Sasha Banks to AEW on January 11th, it's just logistically not going to happen because she's already signed a deal with performing at Wrestle Kingdom. So and that's pretty much the news on that. Did you guys want to say anything more about the Sasha thing or?
I don't think it's a WWE work. I think Sasha has been playing her cards right. She knows her value and her worth, and I think New Japan ponied up some money for a couple of appearances. I think Sasha will always stay in the wrestling sphere a little bit for a 1 or 2 appearances or matches a year for those who pay her to help promote her for her,
She just finished
upcoming
shooting a
acting
movie
and modeling career and stuff
yeah,
like that.
she's been at all these different red carpet events, specifically Marvel and Disney ones.
Hey, she's making that Mandalorian money.
Yeah, and once you get I'm stealing this from Booker T. Once you get a paycheck with that many zeros on it, it's it's hard to take one with less. You know what I mean? Afterwards,
Yeah.
Yeah. And as far as the Saraya mystery partner thing, I could see Tony
It's
starting to
Saraya,
talk.
by the way, Saraya.
Saraya.
Yeah, not
Saraya.
Saraya.
Saraya. Paige. So I could see Tony
FKA Page.
starting to talk with Sasha and think he had something, and then set the storyline up on TV, and then not be able to pay it off with Sasha. Like, it's going to be a major disappointment when it's not her walking out on that stage on the 11th, right?
What if it's Naomi, though?
Well, maybe because Naomi, she's not got anything, going on now. But we are running a little long on the news, so let me go ahead and run through the next thing. At your request, Johnny, talk about your boy Matt Riddle. Come on.
Poor Matt Riddle.
What did he do this time?
They wrote Matt Riddle off TV because apparently he has to go into rehab. And all I want to say on that is I just wish Matt Riddle a fast recovery because he is one of my favorite performers right now. So I want to see him get well and come back to the ring as quick as possible. Because
Good. That's all I got to say about that. And I want to finish the news off with saying happy birthday to my personal friend, Rob Van Dam. Smoke a fatty for me, buddy, and I'll call you at 4:20.
It's a shame my camera's not angled over to the other side of the room. I've got my RVD pop on the wall.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Yeah.
That wall is nothing but WWE.
If I wanted to flex, I would show some pictures of me just casually hanging out. He goes, pro tip, you ever want to actually run into him or any other wrestlers that are in town?
The nerd.
Yeah, the nerd. That's where they all go to hang out. So All right, let's get into the wrestling news. We got 15 minutes at the top of the hour. I don't think we're going to get through a 3-hour Monday Night Raw review.
Actually, speaking of wrestlers in town, apparently Ricochet is claiming Las Vegas now.
I'll get to that. I actually have that in my notes because
okay. Well, all right.
Promo. He cuts his promo here in Vegas. So, all right.
Yeah. Wearing an Eagles chain, by the way, Philadelphia Eagles. I'm like, is Ricochet? Go Birds!
Yeah. Anywho, you football guys are funny.
Hey, I got the game on right behind me.
Don't. Yeah, Roland's a big football guy also. Tampa Bay, right, buddy?
Tampa Bay, that's right. We got the 1:30 game, so I can make this podcast fine.
All right, good deal. All right, so Monday Night Raw opens with the women's championship match between Bayley and Alexa Bliss. This was, not a big surprise, the outcome. We all talked about it last week. They all come out together. Damage Control comes out together, but Becky Lynch beats the hell out of those chicks and runs them off to the back. And then we hear Bianca's music. She comes out just to sit and watch. She doesn't even do guest commentating. She just, sits there and watches. And
hanging over the match like the sword of Damocles.
Yeah, right. A couple things I want to point out. I thought Bliss almost broke her damn neck when she did that Hurricane Rana. Did you guys see that? That was scary.
Yeah.
And she seemed a little out of it after that. And then I wrote a note here, which I know is totally random, but they cut to Bianca Belair, and I wrote, "Damn, Bianca is jacked as fuck. Bianca's dude. Have you noticed? She's getting bigger. Her arms are jacked, bro."
Have you seen videos of her working out?
I haven't, but I'm gonna go watch the one with her and Sheamus. So Alexa wins with the Twisted Bliss, and I hope she's okay. I haven't heard anything, but that looked really bad. That that Hurricane Rana. What'd you guys think about that? And then the post match where she goes through the trance, almost does the Sister Abigail, and then lets Belair go. It's
I love that,
and runs off. Okay, Roland.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was good. I kind of like the story progression. I think that if they weave in the Bray Wyatt stuff a little bit, that she's going to be in there with that, because I think this is just sort of a filler feud for her to go to Bray Wyatt. But yeah, her not having any alliances with anybody, I think is a good part of the story.
Yeah, and Matt Vader, Alexa is also our good friend Joe's Atmosphere, who's not here today. He calls her Biscuit Butt. That's her, so she's his favorite as well. All right, cool. Then the next thing is, and I'll try to go quick. Alpha. There's a recap of the Alpha Academy milk truck incident. Then Byron Saxton talks to the Alpha Academy as they're getting out of the car, and then the OC shows up laughing at the Alpha Academy because they got a video from Carl Anderson, who's in Japan right now. So apparently they don't even watch Raw. Mm-hmm. They found out about it from a viral video or something, which I thought was kind of funny.
I missed all of that because that wasn't on the Hulu.
Yeah, all of this. All it did was to set up the match for later between Gable and AJ. Then the Judgment Day comes out, and we get the second match of the night on a 3-hour show. It's the 6-man tag against the Street Profits and Akira
Tozawa.
Yes, Akira Tozawa. But before that, we have a backstage interview with Tozawa and the Street Profits. And Tozawa's got his cup, and he says he wants the smoke. And then he chugs his cup, and they go out to the ring. And
so he didn't just chug that cup; he chucked that cup. Yeah. I mean, he was all aggressive and angry with that drinking.
Yeah, but I tell you what, man, Damian Priest, that's a deceptively big motherfucker, dude. And he did the Razor's Edge from the apron into the ring. That was. Oh man, I love that he's using that move. By the way, I know he's calling it something else, but it's the Razor's Edge, man. Just call it the Razor's Edge. So what did you get? Kind of a, I don't know. The match didn't really do it for me, but I did like the ending with the Razor's Edge because I'm a big, Razor Ramon was the only 2 pops I own. Bret Hart and Razor Ramon.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. So that's only because I couldn't find a Mr. Perfect one. I mean, I would have one of those.
But they don't have one yet. I actually want to do it one of these days on the show. do a top 10 list of WWE pops we need, because we have an Eva Marie pop,
but not a Mr. Perfect one.
But not a Mr. Perfect.
Yeah. So anyway, after this, we get a little Dexter Lumis Johnny Gargano sketch where the as an artist, that whiteboard was fucking hilarious. Did you guys see that? All the artwork on it, where he was like Loomis is Iron Man and a couple other things on there, and it was
was pretty cool.
Very similar style.
I wonder if I can order a print of that. Actually,
I mean, it looked cool. Like I hope
I'd hang that on my wall.
Yeah, it looked really cool. But it was just, funny BS skit just to set up the further skits where they're going to be giving stuff away, because Candice is like, why don't you guys just give the money away instead of trying to figure out what to do with it? Because we have everything we need. And
going back to the Mandy Rose thing.
Yeah.
Do you think Dexter Lumis would get fired if he tried to sell his artwork outside of WWE, like on?
I mean, if he did it with his dick hanging out, he would. But So that goes to break. We return from break, and these guys walk out, and they just first they go to a merch stand, buy a bunch of merch, and then they come out to the ring with a little cart. And Biscuit Butt is a great name for her. Well, that's a trademark Joe's Atmosphere. And they're giving stuff away. Miz runs out. I mean, I'm not into any of this stuff. I mean, I don't even since we're running short on time. Is there anything you guys want to say about this bit?
I think the Lumis Gargano Miz storyline has gone on way too long. I think it's it's funny. Johnny Gargano is a very funny guy, but he's a better wrestler. I want to see him wrestling matches.
Yeah,
I don't
want to see him doing
all this.
I mean,
I don't want to see him doing all this comedy crap in the back.
Yeah, all of this was to set up the ladder match, which after you making me watch all this crap, that ladder match better be good.
I think it's a perfectly fine mid-card storyline, and I'm okay with them having mid-card storylines, but that's what you watch on in the background,
So the next thing is we have another promo.
Yeah, it's like since Johnny Gargano made his return, he only had like 3 or 4 matches.
Yeah, and this last one he got destroyed in.
Come on, this is watch wrestle every week.
Yeah. So the next thing up is we get a Candice LeRae versus Io Sky promo for and then goes into the match. They have like a 5-minute match. Bailey was going to do guest commentary, but they had technical difficulties, so she didn't get to. So instead, she joins Dakota Kai at ringside to cheer Io Sky on. Not very surprisingly, Io Sky wins with that over the moonsault. I thought Dakota and Bailey would be more of a factor, but they really weren't. Did you guys have any thoughts on that match, or should we just move on?
It was a good win for Damage Control.
Yeah,
they needed a win, so Candice can eat the loss. She's not doing anything right now.
Yeah. Then they do another, promo package recapping. This is why Raw does not need to be 3 hours. They can get rid of all this bullshit recapping, and it'd be 2 hours. But anyway, of the beatdown Elias got from the Bloodline, and then the Bloodlines win over KO and Riddle, and then just going over the whole how they wrote Riddle off TV, and we already talked about that in the news as to why. They gave him a 6-week time frame. That's very what
I do like that Solo Sikoa is I do like that Solo Sikoa is doing a lot of Umaga.
Yeah, so
a lot of callbacks to Rest in Peace.
That's about the amount of time you spend in rehab, huh? So anyway. So now we have another backstage vignette. It's Kevin Owens.
Perfect time.
Huh? Oh, you broke up. Anyway.
I said perfect time for a Rumble return.
There you go.
Yeah.
When KO's being interviewed, we hear a guitar strum. Elias comes out, has the audacity to ask Kevin Owens for help. Kevin Owens brings up the whole feud he had with Zeke and him, and he's like, "You really think I'd help you?" So it was kind of funny. But then when we come back from break, Elias is in the ring. And he's got a tribute to your boy Matt Riddle. He got Matt Riddle posters up, and he's singing a song that supposedly Matt Riddle wrote. And when he pulls the paper out, it looks like a big blunt, and he unwraps it, and then it's got like lyrics supposedly on it. It was funny, but Solo just comes out and murders him, and then Kevin Owens comes out, hits the stunner on both of them. Chef's kiss. What do you guys think? I don't know. I sped through a ton of my notes because we got.
I think any just turns to gold.
You think what? You're breaking up real bad.
Anything can.
Yeah, Johnny's breaking.
Yeah,
KO touches turns to gold. I am?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I heard the word.
Oh, crap. Yeah, and you guys are coming in really staticky, too.
It must be your internet connection, bud. So, anywho, we get
if it continues, log out and log back in like I had to.
Yeah. So we get a 20th anniversary tribute to the Troops segment. I meant to watch that yesterday, but I didn't. I have no idea what happened at tribute to the Troops, but I don't know if it matters.
It's not storyline continuity, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I did put here. Be sure to thank Johnny and Joe for their service.
Thank you. Yeah.
And then now we've got Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. But during that they show pictures of the Miz being a grumpy elf. The match is less than 10 minutes. This is the third or fourth match on a 3-hour show, and it just ends with Asuka spraying mist in Dominic's eyes, and then she turns around and gets rip-tided by Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley wins, but she and Dom, she's acting like Dom is a baby, and oh my God, we need to get help because he had mist spraying in his eyes, and doesn't even celebrate her match, just rushes Dom to the back. What do you guys think of this Rhea Ripley, Dominic Mysterio dynamic with the Judgment Day?
I think it's funny. I think it's very different. I think Rhea Ripley, just her appearance and her character plays the part. It's the most interesting thing Dominic's done since he's been with the company. Oh yeah. So just have a cool gimmick.
He's a huge Eddie Guerrero fan. He's even growing out the mullet, and they're doing the mommy and poppy thing. I mean, I don't know.
Let him, if he's having fun with it and enjoying being a sports entertainer, be a sports entertainer, man.
Yeah. Johnny, you were gonna say?
I've taken to calling him Subanic Guerrero because he is not the dom in that relationship.
Very nice. So now we get another promo package. There's too many of these. It's Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley to determine the #1 contender for Austin Theory's United States Championship. And then after that promo package, we go to another backstage segment. And this is where Dominic, he's going, "Mommy, I can't see." And all of Judgment Day is trying to help him except for Damian Priest. He's giving him a little bit of tough love. The announcers are really putting Austin Theory over after this, but it felt a little too on the nose for me. But then this leads into an interview with Dolph Ziggler. And then we get another Bobby Lashley promo. And now it's finally time for the main event after we get some more pictures of The Miz.
Dolph Ziggler, another guy that does not have a Funko Pop where Eva Marie does.
That's terrible. Rollins comes out. I can't tell. I said this last week. Is he a heel or a babyface? Because he's getting cheered.
He's a babyface now.
Yeah, he's getting cheered.
Rollins is a babyface.
Yeah, because I thought Lashley was the babyface in this feud. But anyways, during the match,
Lashley's been a heel since.
Okay. I mean, I like Bobby Lashley, so maybe it's me. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm a heel. So during the match, Austin Theory's watching it on a TV backstage, and for once, he's actually watching the TV like a normal human does, and not like everybody else in WWE does when they look at a TV like this. But Lashley's beating the shit in the beginning of this match out of Rollins, just decimating him. But then Rollins mounts a comeback, and then we have a nice near fall with the Falcon Arrow after 2 suplex reversals. He goes for a stomp, which he fails, leads into a power slam, which leads into the Hurt Lock, into a spear, but Rollins turns it into, but because of so Rollins gets speared, but because of a ref bump, the referee gets in there a little late for the cover, and Rollins is able to kick out. So, Lashley's a little pissed off. He goes,
"Hello, good evening, and welcome to the middle of the film."
Yeah.
All right, so in just a minute, we're at the very end of this. we'll get into today's sponsor. So he goes for the spear. Lashley, pronouns pal. Lashley goes for the spear, but when he dives into it, Rollins jumps up. It was a kind of cool spot. Turns it into the pedigree for the 1, 2, 3. And then Lashley's pissed, hits the ref. Adam Pearce comes out and fires Bobby Lashley to end the show. What did you guys think of Raw overall and the main event?
Well, first off, congrats for getting through Raw before the top of the hour mark. Chat, I think that deserves a like for Danny just running through a 3-hour show. So give him a like for making that before the 1 hour mark, guys.
Yeah. I guess John jumped the gun on that. Welcome to the middle of the show.
Yeah, you hit it at like 59:47, man. I mean, you got a timer right there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I know I hit it early. I hit it early on purpose because you had just done the. It was a good spot to me.
It was funny. It was funny. Yeah, I'll go back and watch it. It's fine. Well, thank you, Roland. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, please, if you want to, guys, hit the like button. I won't complain. But what'd you think? What'd you guys think of the main event and then Raw overall? And then I'd like to talk a little bit about today's sponsor when we're done.
I liked the main event. It was one that I went back and watched.
Did not expect swearing.
I think you're breaking up again, Johnny. Let's let Roland go first while Johnny tries to work on that.
Yeah, how do I think? Like,
okay, yeah, a little, yeah. So no, I like the main event. Rollins is definitely the babyface here. I think they subtly turned him babyface without really making a big announcement or moment for it. He just kind of became the babyface of Raw's main event. Really good main event. Those guys put on a good match. Rollins can put on a good main event for it.
Did you see Vader's comment? He just saw the botched Hurricane Rana we were talking about. Yeah, man, it was ugly. I mean, I hope she's okay. Anyway, sorry.
As far as the show itself, I think your review did it justice to where you can just kind of condense it down or just get the highlights or everything like that, and you don't have to sit through 3 hours of the show. It's very hard. Even some of the good storylines, like if you like the Gargano Miz Loomis storyline, you can go catch it someplace else. But like you don't need to invest 3 hours to do it. And I think WWE knows that, and they put on a good product, but like they put it on for you to watch some other way. Like Johnny said, he watches it on Hulu, the condensed version, So you don't need all the backstage skits. But if you enjoy that, watch Raw for 3 hours. So.
Yeah, so I'm trying to look at this. There was 3, 4, 5 matches on a 3-hour show. That's crazy.
So I'm curious, chat, do you guys watch Raw or SmackDown or Dynamite all like in its total, like when it's live, like all 3 hours? Or do you watch it like Johnny does on Hulu or a condensed version, or do you DVR it and fast forward? Like just how do you watch the shows? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, let us know in the chat, and then it does get tedious, Vader. And then Johnny, hopefully your technical difficulties are fixed.
Am I sounding better at all, or it doesn't sound better?
I mean, a little. It's more.
Yeah, you sound better.
Choppy.
It's your video that's the choppy.
Yeah, I think your internet's just pretty slow.
Oh, okay. As long as the sound's coming through, that's fine. I mean, this ugly mug don't change.
You can go down to the thing and just click stop cam and just be a little talking head, and that might help with your bandwidth for a little bit. I mean, it's up to you, though.
All right.
But yeah, real quick, though, because we got to get into the sponsor.
Well, let me know. But, well, let me just tag in on this real quick. I think Triple H is doing a really providing creative for a lot of underused people. But like it was in the Attitude Era, where every wrestler on the roster had their own story. Everybody was involved in being wasted. But at the same time, a lot of the matches were shorter. Like you'd have 5 to 10 minute matches or even less. Like some of those matches would only be 2.5 bell. And so do you sacrifice work rate for character? Do you sacrifice character for work rate?
Good question.
Yeah, we have involved matches, which is a good thing for wrestling purists. But if you're just into it for the, for the storylines and the wrestle crap, it can really make Raw drag on.
So I feel like Johnny must be using dial-up or DSL because this is, or maybe your roommate's got a lot something.
CenturyLink is just having a bad.
Yeah. Oh, DSL.
CenturyLink. Oh, geez,
yeah.
okay.
So it is DSL. There you go. Problem solved. Well, without any further ado, let's get into today's sponsor. I'm about 4 minutes behind schedule. Today's sponsor is Cosmic Comics in Las Vegas. And normally I would, try to be funny and say something, but since we have Roland here and there's something specific that they would like to promote for the shop, without any further ado, Mr. Roland, sir, please tell us about your shop and the promotion that you want to push.
Thank you very much. So Cosmic Comics, one of the oldest and largest comic book shops here in Las Vegas, Nevada. But if you do not live in Las Vegas, Nevada, we actually do have online ordering and shipping and everything available for that as well.
They even have an app, and it's awesome. Talk about all that.
We have an app. So if you are in town or not, the app is called Comic Hub. COMICHUB, and you'll be able to place orders. You'll be able to place orders online for shipping, domestic shipping, everything like that, for not only new items, but also for our back issues or like our blanks or our graded books, anything like that.
You can even pre-order stuff. Because
exactly,
it's basically like looking in a previews catalog.
It is, and it guarantees that you get the books that you want and that you don't have to pull them off the rack. For example, the hot book that came out this past week was, after 20 some odd years, we get a follow-up to Batman Spawn by Todd McFarlane and Greg Capullo. So Batman Spawn was the big book that dropped here at the end of the year for 2022.
It's definitely been more than 20 years. I'm pretty sure.
94. So
yeah, that's
94 was when the first crossover happened. So yeah 20 years. Yeah, a little bit less. Okay. But yeah, so we got Batman Spawn came out, and there was, in true Todd McFarlane
that's
fashion,
28 years ago. You got to work on your math. Like it'll be.
I don't want to
2
be
years.
that old,
that'd be
man.
30 years, bro. Yeah.
Was it 30? Oh wow. Okay, I was in high school when it came out.
Yeah.
Jeez, oh Pete.
Yeah.
So almost 30 years ago, we get a Batman Spawn follow-up here. Multiple covers on there, so you can always see which covers you would want out of Comic Hub and pick the ones that you would want that we have out in there. If you are
they call those variants in the industry.
Variants, correct. If you are a Spawn fan or a McFarlane fan or a Capullo fan, this book is for you. If you are a Batman fan, but you are not current on the current Batman titles, that's fine. You don't need to know any of the current Batman stuff to jump right into this book. You can just know about who Batman is.
So Batman's not gay in this storyline, is what you're saying. Sorry. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm just saying that they didn't address that in the 64 pages of the book. They didn't have time for it.
Okay.
So, but no, that's the biggest book that came out here at the end.
I gotta ask.
Mm-hmm.
Did they do throwback variants? Like,
he wants to know if they did any throwback.
Yeah. Did they variants of, like, I want hologram covers, I want lenticular covers, I want all those gimmicky variants.
The worst part of the 90s. You want
that
have
in the 90s.
Yeah, Jesus.
So they did not for this particular issue, but DC recently just did do a 90s throwback variant month for November or December, where a lot of their titles had a 90s variant that was on there. So that the nostalgia is still there and strong in the industry.
How did those sell? I'm curious.
For the ones that were good, like good covers, they sold well. Some of them were like they did the borders on the books. So like if you have a comic up, right, they did the 90s logo and the borders. But if the art was they didn't sell all right. You're just like, again, if you're buying it for the cover, you want the cover to be a really cool cover. So,
yeah, definitely. Well, continue with the promos.
Any of the covers done by rough giant chests and no feet?
Jesus.
So the one that was the big 90s cover was the Wonder Woman one, where she was in a jean jacket and like a jean outfit, and she was doing the Lobo pose of like kind of looking over her shoulder. But it was just an excuse to have an ass shot right on there. And it was the only one that was like, come on, guys. I know this is 90s, but we're in 2022 now. Let's do this, right? But no, Batman Spawn, you had covers by McFarlane, Capullo, Jim Lee, guys who've worked on Spawn over the years. The kind of his normal crew he had to him.
I need to address something in the chat. I hope you're still here. King Sport Cal, thank you so much, because I do know you hate wrestling. So I appreciate you dropping by just to give the like. So if you've already left, I understand. But bless you. All right. Back to regularly scheduled programming. Was there anything else you want to say about Cosmic Comics, the fantabulous comic book shop in Las Vegas, Nevada?
I'm just saying, you can follow us on all of our socials at Cosmic Comics LV, all one word. And
yes, on all
make
platforms. I'm constantly retweeting their cool covers and then their gems and their finds and things like that.
And if you have any questions about anything, you can hit up Danny. He'll get you in touch with me, or you can follow me up there at Lucky Mussolino. That's me on Twitter. Ask me questions, everything like that, and we'll get you in there for the comics. And currently there's no wrestling comics. They did have. This comes from the WWE book that Boom put out a few years ago. Currently, no wrestling books. We're kind of waiting for the next one to come on to do. And what I'm waiting for is for AEW to do a comic book or to do some kind of storylines, because a lot of their wrestlers
I'm not. You want to know why?
Fans.
Because it'll be all Twinkle Toes and the Harley Boys.
Well, I don't think they'll be the ones running it, because they're not. I mean, Matt and Nick did put out like their children's book that they did a bit ago, but if you just follow a lot of their wrestlers, like Ethan Page, Dan Housen, they're big toy comic guys. I'm surprised they haven't gotten a comic license yet with one of the publishers.
Hey, who knows? Maybe they will, or maybe they'll self-publish. And Tony Khan's got a shit ton of money. But
that's true.
I appreciate you, because that's the perfect segue to go into Dynamite. AEW Dynamite. Yeah, it's almost like
I've done this before.
So AEW Dynamite Winter is coming. So every show for the rest of the year has a gimmick name, like it's supposed to be a pay-per-view feel. And the opening match is my favorites, the Twinkle Toes and Harley Boys, tag trio, best of 7. And I literally wrote here, I cannot reiterate enough how much I hate these dipshits. They have zero.
I'm over it.
They have zero business being EVPs, and I can only hope that the recent hiring of former WWE producer Michael Mansuri makes a difference, and that these ass clowns get demoted to just talent only. And I use the word talent very loosely. So did you guys hear about this news? I kind of snuck this in about Michael Mansuri.
Yeah.
And so the shows are supposed to start looking different. I think this week, right? Or this coming week. I think they're supposed to start being ran by him. Is that correct? Or is it later?
I thought first of the year for the January.
Oh, is it first of the year?
I think once he.
Okay. Well, once he takes over, I feel like we'll notice. And because he's actually been an EVP and he has experience and he knows what the fuck he's doing, I hope those guys get to. They have talent, has no business. And that's what I have so much respect for Cody Rhodes, because he never abused his power. In fact, he went too far the other direction, in my opinion. We talked about this in a previous episode, where like he didn't want to. How did you put it? I think you're the one that said he didn't want to be the next Jeff Jarrett, right? Wasn't that you that said that, Johnny? He's got
but that's a good quote.
He didn't want to be the next.
Yeah, he did say that. Okay, so anyways, that's all I have to say about that. Death Triangle comes out. I'm not going to cover this match because I don't like them. Them being pronouns pals. Sorry, Twinkle Toes and the Harley Boys. So I was just happy because they lost. Now you guys probably like this match, so I'll let one of you take the reins and talk about it if you want, or we can move
on. This was a stepping stone match to set up the babyface comeback, like the adversity with Nick getting hurt, with them setting up the no DQ match with that. They're down 3-1. They're going to win the next 2 to go to the 7th match. This was issue 4 of that comic miniseries that was just filler to get you to the end, and that's all it was.
I love that analogy. Yeah. So in all the following matches now are going to be gimmick matches, right?
I hate it.
Go ahead.
I'm over it. Like, if we didn't need a best of 7 series, we've seen these guys scrap it up. AEW's been around and how many Elite versus Lucha Brothers matches or Young Bucks versus how many variations on this theme are we going to have? It's over. It just reeks of Kenny and the Harley Boys, as you call them, sucking their own dicks. It's literally
Johnny. I gotta give
them 100%. Performing for Audio 3.
Your internet's killing me, bro. I can't take credit. That's a Jim Cornette ism. Okay, I stole that from Jim Cornette. Twinkle Toes and
I'm in the
Harley
cult
Boys.
too.
Okay, all right, Cult of Cornette. All right, just I don't want anybody thinking I'm trying to take credit for that. But anyway, I from what I heard, because I thought you were having seizures throughout
at this
half
point.
of it. Oh, see, there we go again. Yeah, go ahead. What were you saying at this point?
Yeah, I'm this is killing me. This
Killing
is
me.
killing me.
We're losing viewers, man. We're losing viewers.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so
Okay.
yeah.
All right, yeah, we'll
Backstage.
go. Yeah, go on to the next part.
Yeah. We go backstage. MJF gives a killer interview, as always, about the main events of the evening versus Ricky Starks, where the winner takes all. It's a great interview. He's a great heel promo, but we got shortchanged. We got to get 7 matches of these dipshits, but we can't get a trilogy with Ricky Starks, and MJF, because that's how it should have went. Why do a winner take all? You do one where, I don't know what order you do it in, but so he was supposed to have the title match first, right? So Ricky Starks has the title match. He loses the title match. And then he has the second match for the ring. Then he wins that match. And then they have the rubber match for the title, because he has to have the ring to go for the title. And then he loses. So you have a good trilogy of good matches to help build up new stars. But instead, we got these selfish fucking assholes that are in their brains only, EVPs who don't have enough fucking talent to manage a McDonald's, let alone a goddamn multi-million-dollar wrestling company, putting themselves in a best of 7. I got to calm down. Sorry. What are you guys' thoughts?
So I don't know how much control that Matt and Nick have over their booking. I think Tony might just be having them, when they came back from the suspension, in their own little world. Go do this for a few months, have some good matches, work it out, and we were not going to incorporate you into anything else. And it just sort of solves the problem of you being back.
Yeah, but
maybe that's the thought process.
Why not? Why do the winner? Because last week's show, when I was doing the review of Dynamite, they didn't mention it was going to be winner take all until a graphic at the very end.
Right.
And then what's his name? The guy with the mask. Shit. Excalibur. Thank you.
Right.
And, Excalibur doing the voiceover. And like I said last week, I literally yelled at the TV. I was like, "What the fuck? What? Why? Because what do you think about don't you think it should have been a trilogy? Don't you think that would have been better for the new talent? Especially.
I think it would have been better, but it would have delayed MGF versus Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson. I mean, that's the story that they want to get to, because
I think that's fine. I think there's plenty of time. They have plenty of time between Dynamites and then they're I believe at the beginning of the year they're going to have one of those. It's basically like a Clash of Champions style thing. I forget what they call it.
Right.
But I don't know. But okay, so you think, yeah, and that's the other thing. But Bryan Danielson is he's great, but he's I thought the point is you want to build future stars. That's how you have longevity. And yeah,
I think
MJF is already over,
right?
And he's a future star. Ricky Starks could have been elevated with a trilogy, even if you know what I mean. You lose.
I think this is an example of AEW's booking, where how Tony books stuff, especially for his main event scene. He always tries to go for the big headline, the big announcement, and I think MJF versus Danielson, with all of the William Regal storylines going, because most of their audience is kind of tuned into the dirt sheets and what's going on, and Regal left, and so he wants to capitalize on that, and that's always been to the detriment of the younger guys in the main event scene.
This is going to work out. This is going to work out for MJF, because I feel like they're just going to feed Bryan Danielson to him. There's no way he wins that feud. There's no way.
No. MJF is gonna if MJF will be champ until Double or Nothing, and he's not gonna lose until Double or Nothing.
So why be in a rush to get him to? That's what I don't get. Then why be in a rush to get him to beat Bryan Danielson when you could have let that simmer some more? So while he's doing the trilogy with Ricky Starks, you can do more than one thing at a time. And then you're also building to have Bryan cutting more promos. He didn't even cut a promo. He just came out there.
He just came out. He
chased them off.
Because Tony
getting ahead of ourselves. That's in the main event, but
Tony has shown that he's not good at adapting to unforeseen things for his booking for the plan that he has. And if you look at MJF coming back, CM Punk getting injured, CM Punk dropping the bomb, William Regal wanting to leave, all of this stuff kind of just throws wrenches into whatever plan he has. And he always defaults back to just throw out the biggest match that I can or hire somebody to distract the fans or give them what they want. And he hasn't had the experience to adapt to
exactly.
What
and
can I do?
He's got fucking Jim Ross there. Like, why isn't Jim Ross helping? You know what I mean? Or hire somebody like a Cornette. I'm not saying put them in charge of booking, but like, Jesus, man, get somebody with experience to bounce some fucking ideas off of her to get some advice. You know, because so I read that William Regal left because none of these young kids thought they knew it all. Kind of mirroring exactly what CM Punk was saying. Is that they don't want to take advice from vets. It's like I'm wasting my fucking time here because William Regal his role is exactly that, is to help groom future talent, you know, or whatever, you know, to help mold future talent. And you know, so it just I think Tony Khan's making a huge mistake by letting those three, because I'm telling you, man, like these three EVPs have no business being EVPs. Okay, just take them out of that equation. They don't need it. You know, get somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean,
Joe, I miss you, buddy.
I think we're 3 years into the company and we're just seeing the growing pains. You know, I think sometimes you have to step back and realize this is a first-time promoter, a first-time wrestling company owner. A lot of the guys in the locker room, this is their first time doing a weekly TV show, big business company, and well,
that's my point. So get somebody experienced in there as an EVP,
right?
You know, which I'm glad that they've taken the first step. And
I think the fact that they have Jim Ross on payroll and they're not using him in a talent relations capacity
is criminal. Yeah. I was just saying that while you're gone, and you sound a million times better. I don't know what you did.
Thank you. I restarted the laptop.
Okay. There
okay.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
When in doubt, reboot.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we're all in a maybe. I seem to be a little bit too passionate, but do you guys agree with me or no? Like they should not be EVPs, right?
They
initially when they were EVPs and made the company, I was okay with it when they had very specific roles. Kenny dealt with the gaming section because that's what he knew, so he can kind of oversee it. Matt dealt with BTE, or Nick one of them dealt with BTE, the other one dealt with Pro Wrestling Tees, and that was it, right? Don't try to be running the company like Triple H or Shawn Michaels or William Regal or whatever. You're an EVP.
Only want to work with your boys. Only want to total click shit, man.
But like do the good stuff that you are passionate about to help build up the company. Let Cody and Tony and a few other people run the business. And I think that's bled over to where they're now more running the business, and that's where you're seeing.
We got a super chat.
Ooh.
Doesn't really count, though. I do appreciate you, buddy. This is from a co-host of the show who couldn't make it today, Joe's Atmosphere. Sends in a $1.99 super chat. Checking in. Good discussion. See you Christmas Day. Is our next show really Christmas Day? Holy shit,
Christmas
it
and
is.
New Year's Day is the next Sundays.
Yeah, right on. Well, hey, I hope you're serious because that'd be fun. Yeah. No wonder I couldn't.
Kenny dealt with the Japanese talent, and he was involved with the women's talent early on. That was his passion. That was fine then. Yeah.
But no wonder I couldn't find a guest for next week's show. It's Christmas Day. I'm so stupid. This is how I don't. It's Christmas for the kids. I mean, we got a tree and we got decorations and stuff, but I don't. I'm not Christian, so I don't care. You know what I mean? So anyway. I just lost half the audience with that statement. Sorry. Anywho, the next, oh gosh. Scissor me, daddy, yes! We get the Scissor Gods, the Acclaimed, come out to the ring. And while he's doing a hilarious rap, I love his raps. He referenced Elon Musk getting booed at Dave Chappelle's stadium show in this week's rap. But before he could finish giving us more gold, Sanjay Dutt, Satnam Singh, Jeff Jarrett, and that bastard Jay Lethal, they come out and just jump him. Jarrett actually says He doesn't say it into the mic. But did you guys hear? Fuck you. Did you guys hear that? It was very clear.
Good job, the F-bomb.
Yeah.
And how does the AEW get away with this shit? Because they that's like the third time at least they've done an F-bomb on TBS.
Well, and that in the crowd, like the crowd is very vocal with their F-bombs, and I'm like,
Well, you can't control the crowd, and then whenever you try, it sucks because they haven't figured out how to not cut the commentators' feed. Like they just cut all the audio feed.
Yeah.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't AEW rated TV 14?
It's yes, I believe it is. Yeah.
So that
It is, but it's still in a primetime spot on broadcast television.
But like, if I remember correctly from the summer when WWE was talking about going back from PG to TV 14, the main reason is on a PG rating they have to mute the crowd. On a TV 14, you don't. So if the crowd chants "Holy shit," it doesn't matter because it's not the broadcast.
No, man, they chant F-bombs a lot too.
Yeah, but it's because
whenever MJF is speaking, it's "shut the fuck up,"
shut the fuck up, or you fucked up, you fucked up. Like, yeah.
No,
Can I be honest? I hate that chant. I really hate that chant. I think it's extremely disrespectful to the talent. They're out there risking themselves.
I agree.
And their bodies.
I agree. Well,
like, how would you feel if you were at your day job and you made one mild little mistake, like you dropped something, and then all of a sudden, like all these chuckleheads that you don't know just start pointing at you and saying you fucked up.
Yeah,
I've done that to my coworkers. So.
So let me look at this in the chat. Okay, I brought shame to my mother's name and family. She face palms at my Christian comment. Then Joe Atmosphere says he will be here, and he is Christian, and he thinks he can bring me back to the dark side. The next thing, yeah. So, all right. So what we're gonna do is if we're gonna put this on me to make the Christmas show happen, then I need to learn how to use the back end.
Christmas miracle.
Yes. Thank you, Joe, for showing up. Even if we'll figure out things, and I appreciate you, brother. I'll be.
Does that mean we're still not getting to the state of the apron?
Oh yeah, it's gonna have to be bumped again, but it's his fault this time. So it's just gonna be an ongoing thing.
While we're looking at chat, I see Krampus has been an active commentator. Appreciate that, Krampus. He did talk a little bit about comics before, where he says he has the foil Wildcats issue. Krampus, I believe I'm thinking of it's issue 2 or 3 for Wildcats, where it's the big silver cover that's on there and it's the whole team picture. If it's that issue that you have, that's actually the first all foil issue in comics. That's one of the little funny notations of that book and that era. So it's a fun book to have, man. It's a cool Prism cover.
Yeah. And then, okay, Mom, maybe we will. Maybe I'll call an audible and we'll postpone it because I guess, holidays. What's next? You guys are going to want New Year's Day off also? Good Lord. Anyway. All right, back to the...
I'll be here New Year's Day. I might just be ridiculously hungover, though.
Fair enough. Maybe, yeah. You know what? I didn't think of it. Well, you know what, buddy? If I can't drink, neither can you. How about that? No, I'm just kidding.
No dice. I don't take that deal.
Fair enough. So we get back to getting back to the AEW Dynamite report. Here we go. So after, or did you want to talk about Jarrett slap nuts coming out and? Yeah,
I just love that he broke out the slap nuts. I'm
like, come on, man. What is it like? This is why people like Chris Jericho are so fucking good, and people like Jeff Jarrett could never be. I don't know what to say. I like Jeff Jarrett, but I don't. You know what I mean? And he's better than he thinks he is, but he doesn't know how to reinvent himself. He plays that.
No.
I don't ever want to hear slap nuts come out of his fucking mouth again. Personally, that's my. So I know you disagree, Johnny. What do you think, Roland?
I just love slap nuts as an insult, but you're right.
Jarrett
is kind of a one-trick pony, and it's an insult.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he's playing the same gimmick over and over, and that's what they're paying him to do because it's the nostalgia pop gimmick, and that's how he's gonna, make the rest of his money, the rest of his career, and that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So I saw that chat that he just put up. So okay, I'm gonna call an audible. It's official. There will be no show on Christmas Day. Everybody spent it with their
Humbug.
families. Yeah, So, but maybe, just maybe, what I could do, maybe I can talk these guys into getting together on a day off, and we can do a pre-recorded show where we talk about the CM Punk shit you want to talk about. Yeah. Do you like that idea?
I'll wear my CM Punk shirt.
Fucking A. All right, so that's what we'll do. We'll drop it on Christmas Day.
There you
so
go.
We'll still have an episode 3. Calling an audible. Christmas Day is going to be all about Brawl Out. Post-scrum. I know it was all out, but it's really a brawl out.
Anyway. I know, and we're clearly not on the news cycle because that happened months ago.
Yeah, but no, it's just
I don't
funny.
know, man.
Well, shit, dude, we could do a show about. Dude, I would talk to you about the Montreal screw job, and that happened 30 years ago. So come on.
Yeah. I do think that like it might be a fresh take on Brawl Out now that all the news has come out about it. Like now there's not so many questions flying in the air. You know, the investigation's done, the elite are back. I have my own. I think the whole thing is a total work, and like I'm being like Charlie Day with the bulletin board.
Here's the thing. Hold up.
Me.
So, God damn it, save it for the show because
I will. Yeah.
Because
tune in. That was your teaser.
There you go. Tune in because that's not a bad theory. All right, so now we're back. We cut to a recap of the ROH title match with Jericho versus Claudio, and then Tony Schiavone's backstage.
Still hate that finish.
I love that finish.
I love that finish.
Thank you, Roland. Yeah,
that finish was great.
It was great. It's perfect.
It was perfect for AEW.
It's about to get. Hold up. The reason it's perfect is because we're seeing a fall from grace. So screw it. We have a little backstage vignette. Or interview session. I'll get through this part really quick so I can get to the match. Jericho's like, even though I lost, Danny, you also lost, so now you gotta sit under the learning tree of Sammy Guevara, which he's clearly not happy about. And that'll be starting on Rampage when Sammy takes on Jon Moxley. Good luck with that, kid. Anyways, it ends with the former Jack Swagger yelling, "I like this hat!"
Just randomly.
Yeah, which. I'm sorry, I'm a dork, but I laughed my ass off.
Yeah.
Because the hat is over.
Yeah,
it came out of nowhere.
It really did. It came out of nowhere. And he didn't say love. He's like, I like this hat. It was funny. And that's exactly how he delivered it. So anyway, next out, fresh off the Ring of Honor Final Battle win is the Embassy's own Brian Cage, sporting his new ROH Trios title, which there are too many fucking titles on this show, but that's fine. He's going to take on Jungle Boy Jack Perry to get revenge, since Jungle Boy's the one that tossed him out of the ring in the Diamond Battle Royal. Good match. I thought it was a good match. I was surprised Jack Perry won this match. I mean, there was some shenanigans. Aubrey Edwards missed Brian Cage tapping out, but in the end, it didn't matter. And Jungle Boy got the win with he calls out Big Bill, W. Morrissey.
Didn't he call him a big bitch?
Yeah, he did. But instead of so is he Big Bill now, or is he W. Morrissey?
He's W. Morrissey, but his nickname is Big Bill.
Okay, so like on his Titantron when he walks out, it'll still say W. Morrissey.
Yeah, I mean that's his real name, William Morrissey. So
no, I know that, but I mean, like, I don't know if they were just trying to change it subtly because of like a trademark issue thing or a rights issue,
or if his contract was up with TNA because he was W. Morrissey for TNA.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm like, because they haven't really they didn't refer to him as W. Morrissey once in this show, not even the commentators. W. Morrissey, sorry. So anyways, instead of him, we get Stokely Hathaway coming out, running his mouth, or as you like to call him,
Malcolm Bivens. Yeah.
Bivens.
Sorry,
it's good.
That's an up, down, down reference from.
Oh yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Xavier Woods.
Look. Yeah. You got to stand up. Nobody saw that. Come on.
You got to get the left, right.
Left, right. See? That's how I knew he didn't see it. Yeah. So anyway, so Jack starts to run toward these guys, but then Big Bill comes out and smashes him into the stairs, throws him into the ring. And then they all take turns beating his ass. I wanted to do like a rundown play-by-play like Simon Miller does. This is why it was 19 pages. I just wrote a lot of stuff. So how about I just say this? What'd you guys think about this? Because I don't know, man. Like Jungle Boy Jack Perry looks like he, realistically, 5 foot nothing, 160 pounds, maybe soaking wet. I don't care what they say.
It's all hair.
Right. Hook comes out, same, 5 foot nothing, maybe 150 soaking wet, and these two little scrawny, like Hook runs out to make the save, and all these giant men compared to these two run off scared.
I think they're trying to position Jungle Boy as a giant slayer because he took out Luchasaurus and took out Brian Cage.
Calling out W. Morrissey. But what are they making a new tag team with Hook now, or is just they're gonna I
could see that happening.
Can you?
I don't think they'll do the tag team because they just got Jungle Boy out of a tag team.
Yeah.
And the line of reasoning would be is he's going to be a singles guy now. I think him and Hook are probably just going to maybe form a partnership or a faction or start a stable to go against the firm for face versus heels, right?
Okay.
But no, I think he's going to stay singles because that's the formula when you break them up out of a tag team.
They're going to get, I just figured it out because I said the same thing about both of them. Okay, here's what's going to happen. It's going to be like a little mini faction. And when I say mini, they're going to get like Darby Allin next and every other little scrawny fucker they have. And they're going to have a team of just all the scrawny fuckers. What do you think? Is that where they're going with this? Roland? I see Roland thinking about it. Or did he freeze? Oh, shit. Oh, he's frozen.
Oh,
It looked like he was.
It looked like
yeah, it really.
That
did.
was like he looks very deep in thought right now.
I know, but yeah. That was a perfect place to freeze, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
That was funny.
Screen cap. Bam.
I'm gonna go back and Yeah, I am. I'm gonna go back and screen cap that, clip it out, and I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna make a meme out of that because he did. He looked deep in thought. What do you think about my idea while he's trying to join us?
I think it's
because it wouldn't be Dorks out of the ring if there weren't technical difficulties.
No.
So Johnny, what do you think?
I mean,
you think that's a thing?
I don't think it's a thing, but it's nice and concept.
Funny though.
It would be very funny. You know what? You know it'd be really funny if Miro came back and broke all of those guys over his knees.
Yeah, and you get Danhausen to join them, but Danhausen's already with Orange Cassidy. But
all right, can you guys hear me?
Cassidy's kind of a scrawny fucker too.
He is, right? Yeah. You're back. We can hear you. You froze at the perfect place because it looked like I thought you were still there, just deep in thought.
You're like Gavin.
So I was still talking to you.
Okay.
Did you hear my scrawny fuckers pitch?
Yeah, the scrawny. Yeah.
What do you think? Because Johnny doesn't, whatever. But what do you think?
I mean, if you want to get Big Bill fired again, because isn't that how he got fired from WWE, where he booted like a small person in the Daniel Bryan feud or something?
I think it was that and the drinking and the not.
Well,
Daniel Bryan. I think the booting the little person was the
I don't think here, and I can prove why that had nothing to do with him getting fired from WWE. Daniel or AEW. I'm sorry. WWE fired Daniel Bryan for choking
Justin Roberts.
Roberts. And then when they get and they're both in AEW and they redo that. So I'm pretty sure AEW would love it to have W. Morrissey just boot little fuckers in the face because it's kind of the same thing they did with Bryan Danielson.
But not only that, this happened under Vince McMahon's watch, and Vince McMahon loves when little people get booted in the face.
No, I mean, I think you're going to probably just have, this is going to be a couple faces are going to get together, a couple heels are going to take on the heel faction. You'll get some multi-man matches. Eventually, the faces are going to overcome the odds and the David versus Goliath story. But this probably is going to lead to a Hook versus Jack Perry program, which I think is the better program that you can get out of all of this.
So you think Hook's going to turn on him?
I don't know who you turn on either of them, or if you just do a face versus face. Because what is
Jungle
Hook?
Boy,
Hook is just a wrestler.
You have Jungle Boy turn and do it because right now who okay this is a great idea.
I can't see Jungle Boy as a heel.
I can because let me throw this out there. Maybe you'll see it.
All right.
So Christian's gone right now. He's off screen. He's healing up.
Yeah.
Okay, so they build up the match as like maybe face versus face because Jungle Boy wants the FTW championship.
Okay.
And then that's when Christian returns to screw over Hook, and we get Jungle Boy turning heel, reuniting with Christian. You know.
No, I like your thought.
And then he's back in a tag team with Luchasaurus.
No, it's not a tag team. No, he's not. He's the FTW champion.
I'm going to say this. I like your thinking, but Christian goes on Hook's side, so then Taz goes on Jungle Boy's side, so you have father and son on opposite sides.
Ooh, I like that idea.
That's
too.
That's
I
a
like
spicy.
Taz and Christian and Jungle Boy and Hook.
I love that idea, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
See,
is a
so
spicy hot
you know
take.
what's nice? That's when wrestling's good, is when we don't know exactly what they're going to do, and there's multiple awesome things they could do. So right on. So I dig that. So now, hopefully, all the technical difficulties are behind us for the last part of the show. Oh gosh, we only have 20 minutes. I got to hurry up and get through this. So Blackpool Combat Club backstage segment. Mox recapping Wheeler Yuta's win over Danny Garcia for the title, and Claudio's win over Jericho. And they're talking like 2023 is going to be the year. The BCC puts everyone on notice. Mox says that Sammy Guevara is gutsy, but he's going to kill him, blah, 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 blah. And then he's going to, call out Hangman Adam Page. And he tells him he can bring his little Dark Order buddies. Then, we have a promo. Notice how I haven't said that very much on Dynamite. That's cool. We have a promo with Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland package for their meeting next week. The House of Black come out to face the Factory and just completely destroy the Factory. Not really a lot to talk about there, other than I like that they're building them up, and whoever ends up winning this best of 7, the House of Black better be next in line for the trios titles. What are your guys' thoughts?
They deserve it.
Yeah, because what other 3-man faction do they have?
Deserves got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, that's
They got
that
the best
big
friends.
right now that they're promoting. So
Yeah.
It's House of Black. Maybe
I guess that's a good point. Now you make me feel like I felt like I was so smart and clever in saying that, but then it's like, no, that's really obvious because they don't have any other trios teams. Do they?
The only other option would be is after the best of 7, they just sort of have some filler matches because they want to save the House of Black for the Double or Nothing run, and you push it back a little bit.
Yeah.
So
That means here in Las Vegas for Double or Nothing 4, we might actually get the Elite versus House of Black, and
that'd be cool.
That'll put my
that would
puts
be
my butt in the
cool.
seat.
But House of Black better win if I'm going to be there.
I just want to see.
I'll get thrown out of the place. I'll sneak.
Kick
I'll
that
throw
bobblehead
something
right off
hard.
of Kenny's shoulders.
I'll throw something hard at Nick and Matt Jackson. I don't have the disdain for Kenny Omega. I say twinkle toes and jest. I actually like Kenny Omega.
I love his in-ring work,
but I don't like
attitude outside the ring.
I don't like. I don't watch BTE. I don't know about any of how he is outside of the ring or who he is in real life or any of that stuff. But I don't know, man. I don't like Nick and Mac Jackson at all. I just don't. I'm sorry.
Those three are definitely guys. I've got to separate the art from the artist because I love their in-ring work. I love watching their matches. They're very entertaining. But once you color in all the backstage politics, I've lost a lot of respect for the Elite.
So I don't know. I make a lot of his. You know what? We're running long. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Let's see. So now we
more
have
for the Brawl Out episode.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the Brawl
I'm
Out
going
episode.
to detail.
There we go. Perfect. So now we have Hikaru Shida, Jamie Hayter promo. That's 2 promos now. Then we have a backstage interview with Renee Paquette and Britt Baker with Rebel. But it gets interrupted by Sky Blue to set up a match that they're going to have on Rampage. Now we have Chris Jericho making his way to the ring in the upset of the decade. The fans, this is how fucked up. Like, you think you fucked up is a disrespectful chant. Let's go, Jobber!
Jobber! Come on.
Let's go, Jobber!
You're gonna learn the guy's name.
Yeah, let's go, Jobber, and then he fucking wins. Could you guys believe this? I wrote all this stuff, but it was because I'm writing it in real time, and a lot of this there's no way this kid's going to win. This is ridiculous. This is just a build-up. Jericho's make him feel good after the loss. But no, this kid won out of nowhere. That was
Jericho put him over.
What'd you guys think about this?
I loved it. It reminded me. You know what it reminded me of? 1, 2, 3 Kid versus
1, 2, 3. 1,
Exactly.
2, 3. Yeah.
That's so many. Yes, 1, 2, 3 Kid versus Razor Ramon. That's exactly what this was.
And
like.
and the thing is, I've never heard of this Action Andretti kid before. I don't watch Dark. I'd never heard of this kid before, but he looked good in the ring. He looked like he knew what he was doing. And
what kills me is like he beat him with a running shooting star press. Like if you wanted to make it like the 1, 2, 3 Kid, like I think it would have been I'm not saying he's got to do it. He could have done a shooting star press off the top rope, maybe.
Right.
I don't know.
I like it because it came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting. I'm like, oh, okay. This was my thoughts. Oh, that was a pretty sweet shooting star press. And then, oh my God, he got the 3.
You see that dot right there?
Yeah.
That to the bottom of the page is just all about this one match. And I didn't read most of it because most of it is like, there's no way. Like, there's no way. There's no way. And I was like,
yeah.
What did you think, Roland?
So I don't watch Dynamite live. Like I said, I go back and stuff. So on Twitter, I'm just kind of scrolling through for the highlights, and AEW puts up a tweet, the biggest upset in the history of professional wrestling, and that was their tweet, and they showed sort of the
well, on the show, that's
right?
funny they said that on Twitter. On the show, Taz said, because I originally wrote upset of the year, and then after I wrote that down, Taz said upset of the decade. And now you're saying upset of all time. I don't know.
Yeah. So they said upset of all time on Twitter. And then, of course, the feed was, what about Fandango? What about 1, 2, 3 Kid? When this wasn't your biggest one in your own company.
Yeah.
So then I go back and I watch it. But when you go from the intro of Andretti did not get an introduction. They messed up his name graphic on purpose.
Yeah.
To Jericho. The way they presented it was, okay, you were presenting this as a true worker jobber upset.
I almost wondered if the crowd came up with that chant on their own or if that was planted.
If there was plants, I would have asked them if there was plants to start it. But like what they did if you just see this on social media, it doesn't do the presentation from the entrances to the end justice.
So you went back. This is one of those examples where you went back and watched it because of the awesome.
And you really needed to see it to kind of get the full aspect of the story. And I loved it. I thought it was great. We can rank where it ranks top 10 upsets of all time for another YouTube video. It's if Jericho's going to start getting young guys over that way, or if, like you said earlier in the show, this is the downfall of Jericho and that's his new storyline, it's a great way to start it, you know?
I still think one of the greatest upsets of all time is when Barry Horowitz actually won a match.
Yeah. Hey man, by that time he deserved it.
He earned it.
Yeah.
So we all agree this was pretty cool.
It was very entertaining.
Yeah. So next we have a really good promo from Ricky Starks, pumping up the main event because he's in his backyard. He gives a really good impassioned promo, but I literally wrote here, there's no way he's going to win. Wasted opportunity for a beautiful trilogy. So anyway, then we go to a break. Back from the break, we got FTR promo package that goes over their loss with the Briscoes. And then we have Dax calling out the Ass Boys at the end of this promo. After this, we see Jericho throwing a temper tantrum like he's Kylo Ren in the backstage area.
I love it. I was laughing the whole damn time.
Yeah. No, it was funny. It was great stuff. Then we cut to just like a shot. It's not like a promo or anything of MJF in the back getting a massage while he's on his phone, laying next to the title.
Right.
And to offset that, they show Ricky, working out with the bands. So now it's the Ty Mello.
We got 12 minutes left, so if we want to get to SmackDown, we got to start cliff noting this.
Yeah. Okay. So next is Ty Mello versus Ruby Soho.
Ruby won.
Ruby won. But this is okay. I won't talk about the match, but I do want to talk about this one note. I think Ruby got a nose job, and they just wrote the breaking.
No,
if you look at her nose, dude.
No, it was done, but then again, her nose was destroyed after that match.
That
wasn't elective surgery. That was reconstructive surgery.
You really think so?
She needed to get her nose redone. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw pictures.
I tell you what, though.
You heard her face pop when she hit Tay's knee.
She should thank Tay Mello then, because if you put a side-by-side picture, because I've always had you remember Taja, Roland, my ex, Taja?
Yeah.
So we're still friends. She would give me shit because I always found Ruby Riott, Ruby Soho. I was always attracted to her. And then she would be like, that bitch is ugly. What are you seeing her? I'm like, she looks a lot like you. Like, so what are you saying? Are you like, apparently I have terrible taste, you know, But you've met Taja. She kind of resembles, don't you think?
Yeah,
She kind of, yeah. So,
Okay.
So anyways, if you put a side by side of like Ruby Riott versus this show's Ruby Soho, she should thank Tay Mello, or Ty Mello. Just saying. Anyway, all right. So Cliff's Note version. We're backstage with the empty-headed man bun, Adam Page. Poor baby couldn't remember his kid's name. Blah blah blah. You know how I feel about this guy.
I hated that. I was just like,
Yeah.
oh god, just shut. That's when you need to shut the fuck up, chant.
Yeah. So backstage, we got Dustin Rhodes and those guys pumping up their match. So let's just go ahead and get to the main event. Winner take all, Ricky Starks. This was a really good match.
We knew the ending.
So I do want to say this because I make a Bret Hart reference in here. He took a Bret Hart style chest turnbuckle bump. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people do that. You know, I honestly couldn't name another person off the top of my head. So I love that. I thought that was cool. But yeah, so basically MJF is a scumbag. He wins. And just as he's about to leave, Bryan Danielson comes out and runs MJ off into the crowd. And then Bryan helps Ricky Starks up. I thought it was a good methodical match with old school storytelling, but there was never a moment in time during this match I thought Ricky was going to win.
Yeah,
Thoughts,
and
then
we'll
get on to the next show.
That's the long and short of the whole match.
Yeah.
It was a great match, but ultimately pointless because you knew the finish.
Yeah.
All right. So
that would have been the upset of the decade if Ricky had managed to pull it off.
yeah, that's why I think I don't know if you were here earlier having technical difficulties. I think the trilogy was the way to go.
Yeah, I heard about the trilogy.
Yeah, I really do. Okay, so what I did, I was going to, in keeping with last week, I'll just do the Cliff's Notes. AEW Rampage. So it starts out with Mox Guevara. I took a ton of notes on that. It's a shame I don't get to say them all. Like literally 2 pages of these notes is just that one match. Great match. Sammy did a lot better than I thought. He actually, unlike the previous discussion we had, I thought there were a couple times where I was like, holy shit. Is Mox going to put this kid over? Like, it was really good. It was a long match, too, especially for a 1-hour show. What did you guys think about that? You know, obviously Mox wins, but what did you guys think
missed
about it?
Rampage, to be honest.
Damn, dude, this was a good match. Like, he rips his earring out of his ear. He gets all bloody. That's why I took a ton of notes. So if you didn't watch Rampage, and we're running short
I'll go
on
check
time,
it out after the show.
well, no, that's fine. What we'll do is, if he's got time, maybe we can do like what they call an extra, and we'll go over that. So let's get to SmackDown because you watch SmackDown, right?
I did.
So let's do SmackDown. Chicago Allstate Arena opens up with Sammy. He did get all trimmed up. Look,
I was going to
Yeah.
say, dude, all you need to do is cover the Bloodline opening and the main event. That's all you need to do to cover SmackDown. The rest of the show is...
the rest of the
Cliff
show
Notes
sucks.
missing.
No Captain Howdy?
No, so hold up. No, first match, Liv Morgan and Tegan Nox for the titles. They lost. Nobody cares. But I did write, Morgan loves that sunset powerbomb spot off the apron. She's been doing that a lot. Okay, so that was one match. Then there's a bunch of backstage bullshit I don't need to get into. We get back from the break. Okay. Nearly 45 minutes into the show, only 10 of which had wrestling. We finally get to the Ricochet Gunther match. Good match, but again, there's no way.
I loved it, man.
No, it was good.
Yeah.
When he slapped him out of midair.
But there was
man.
no exactly. This is
so
another
good.
match. This is another match where I never once thought Ricochet was going to win. Not once.
I did kind of think they might have flipped the belt back to Ricochet, but I mean,
The way they did this match, I never once felt that. Especially with, like you said, Ricochet comes at him with a move and he just swats him like a fly. You know, it's like, you know. So, anyways, Imperium come out to the ring after the match because obviously Gunther wins, and then Braun Strowman comes out to make the save, scaring off the heels. Okay, next. Okay, I will go over this because it's a Bloodline backstage segment. Jimmy goes up to Roman, trying to find out, yo, man, what's gonna happen? You gonna make him a oos? You gonna make him a noose? And then he doesn't say anything, and then all Roman says is Adam Pearce, and then we get Heyman calling Adam Pearce. We get back from the break. Adam Pearce is walking in there, and they basically tell him what's what. They say, look, Sammy and I being Roman Reigns, acknowledge me.
Pronouns, pal.
Yeah, right. He's like Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens and a partner of his choosing. Make it happen. And because, Bloodline runs the place, Adam Pearce agrees to it.
Busy week for Adam Pearce.
Yeah, okay. So here comes match number 3. It's a 2-hour show. Legado del Fantasma, like a triple threat match I don't give a shit about. So let's skip that. Then we have a backstage segment. Ronda Rousey, crap I don't care about. Okay, what do we got here?
I did like the Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler just kicking the shit out of Raquel Rodriguez's elbow.
What did you think about that, Roland?
It's just furthering the bad, UFC fighter storylines that they're going to have everybody going into the Rumble and everything like that. It's kind of filler. Like it's just being prolonged a little bit.
I agree. I don't, and it's, neither here nor there. But anyway, next we find out that Ricochet and Braun are going to face off against Imperium in a Miracle of 34th Street fight next week. So, there's only about 10 to 15 minutes left of the show. And Roman comes out for the main event. But yeah, so we had on a 2-hour wrestling show, and I actually started on this one because this one pissed me off. 1, 2, 3. 3 wrestling matches on a 2-hour wrestling show. We got 5 minutes left. This is all we're going to talk about is Smackdown. Before we get to the big main event and the big reveal of the partner of Kevin Owens, talk me off this ledge here. I thought Triple H was supposed to be better than Vince McMahon. Hey, fuck this episode of Smackdown. It was terrible. Terrible.
I'm liking the Bray Wyatt LA Knight stuff. I think they're doing a really good job.
Yeah, we did skip over that because I was trying to do the cliff notes. But okay, so
I like Captain Howdy making a live action debut, actually coming out looking like a twisted Colonel Sanders in a top hat.
Could have been anybody.
Try my chicken, LA Knight.
Yeah, no, totally. It did look like that actually, but
right?
It could be anyone. I don't really count that as a debut. I bet you whoever was wearing that outfit's not even going to be who's revealed. As what is he? What is his actual name? I don't even know.
Uncle Howdy.
Uncle Howdy.
Is it Uncle Howdy? It's not Unky Howie. It's Uncle Howdy or something.
Yeah, it's Uncle Howdy. It's based off of Captain Howdy from The Exorcist.
Jesus. All right. So I'm sorry I skipped that. Now we only have 4 minutes left, and we have like an outro that.
Well, let's just go to the reveal.
Well, but before we get to the reveal, why are you guys not as outrageous as me? Are you used to this? Like 3 matches in 2 hours of wrestling?
I am a little sad that there's not a lot of wrestling matches, but I think a lot of the promos and vignettes that they did do set up bigger storylines down the road.
That's why I don't watch the show for 2 hours at a time sitting there. I go back and watch what I
all I'm doing is proving this man's point right here with my little rants. Okay. All right, let's get to the reveal. So I wrote 10 to 15 minutes left for the show. And then it takes Roman Reigns 5 minutes before he actually is speaking in the ring. From the moment they hit his music, from the moment he gets to the ring and starts talking, it was literally 5 minutes.
I love it.
15.
You need time to acknowledge him.
I guess. And that's the first thing he says, Chicago. That's why I wore the shirt.
Yeah.
Acknowledge me.
That's like one of the biggest pops in wrestling right now.
It is. And so he gets the acknowledgement. And after this, I write, so after the acknowledgement and all this, there's literally 5 minutes left. There's 5 minutes left. And I'm like, and I'm wondering like what's going to happen because I don't know yet. So there's only 5 minutes left. Roman turns around. He says, hey, it was going to be a good night for Sammy, but they have a KO problem they need to solve. So this is where in storyline, Sammy's finding out that, even though the audience knows, Sammy's finding out that you and I being the tribal chief Roman Reigns, are going to take on Kevin Owens and a partner of his choosing. And then he gets interrupted by... We should have had that on the soundboard.
So
you can't see me. You know, he even
he actually
started
made
with that.
himself visible for once. He actually said he was making himself visible in the promo. It's like, you can see me.
So I took a bunch of notes, but screw it. We only have 2 minutes left. I want you guys to talk. What do you think about the reveal in the end of SmackDown?
I think it's great. I mean, I hated Super Cena for so many years, but now I like this idea of him as an attraction coming back.
Yeah. End of the year show. Let's see a good tag team. It'll be Sammy and KO are going to do most of the heavy lifting for the match, and then Cena and Roman will pull off their moves, and there you go.
I totally agree. Well, hey, guys, thank you so much. We got to end for the 2-hour mark for KGRA, but if Doss Wolfen is down after the show, we can do a part 2. I don't know if that'll work or not, but thank you. So just in case it doesn't work, Johnny Rock, tell the people where they can find you, and then Roland, tell the people where they can find you, and then we're
I
head
am
out.
at Johnny Rock 28 on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me there. I post a lot of dumb memes.
All right, and Roland?
And I'm at Lucky Mussolino, so you can find me right there on Twitter, and follow us at Cosmic Comics LV.
Perfect. And you know where I'm at. I am the Dork Knight, and you guys are apparently fans of wrestling, so thank you for showing up. We'll see you next time.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Hey, guys. Thanks for watching Pop Culture Minefield. If you've enjoyed the show, please make sure to like, subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell icon for updates on our shows and channel. Also, please leave a comment, and we'd like to know what you thought of the episode, as well as letting us know if there's something you'd like us to cover in a future episode. Don't forget that you can become a member of Pop Culture Minefield now. Make sure to visit our membership page and merch store at popcultureminefield.com. You can always find Pop Culture Minefield on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch.